Good mythical morning, everyone. It's the notorious, glorious V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live. And we're going to bring you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. So check us out, RogueNews.com. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue News and at Real Rogue News, excuse me, on every single podcasting app known to humanity. Folks, I'll be going live with CJ in about 30 minutes or so over at the Gadfly. So if you haven't gotten a chance, go check it out. thegadfly.vhx.tv, thegadfly.vhx.tv. And it's the place to be. So check it out. And also, guys, check out the Watchers Trade Room. Oh my God. I mean, you want to talk about like crazy profits right now. You want to talk about amazing. Look, people are putting it out there. Learn to code. The hell with learn a code, learn a trade. You learn a trade, you could work for life. You never have to worry about job insecurity. If you're worried about oh my God, what's going to happen if I lose my job? Learn to trade, man. Learn to trade. Oh, what about the market crash? The market's going to crash tomorrow because I saw this person on YouTube said the market's going to crash tomorrow. V, what do I do? Market ain't going nowhere. Okay, and that's number one. And number two, we have the control of the algos. So I'm telling you right now, you got another 4 or 5 years. Enjoy it. Make a crap load of money. And learn to trade. Learn to trade. It's the best way. I mean, before you start a home-based business, get potions and lotions and get on a monthly delivery plan so you can have some newfangled health drink delivered to your house, filling up your garage. Before you do that, learn to trade and fill up your bank account. You fill up your bank account, you start impacting your bottom line, and your quality of life is significantly improved. Cut the BS, stop the stinking thinking, be pragmatic and proactive, change your life, learn to trade over at watchustrade.io, watchustrade.io. The link is in the description box. Amazing things are ahead. Probably do a trading teardown today with Dex, so we're going to go over some market stuff later on. And with that being said, also, guys, check out our other sponsors, mycbdedibles.com and remaincalm.net. With that being said, guys, let's get into it, right? Let's get into a lot of things going on in the world, okay? A lot of things to report on. But I'm going to talk about just the things that are important because that's what we do here. I don't care about the social crap, who gives a rat's rear end. That's a culture war. That could rage forever. Those are football issues, right? Let's talk about the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes. Okay. The Italian exit is going to happen. The ItalExit is getting more and more real, and more and more real, more and more, inevitable than anything else. It's more inevitable than the stupid Brits who are just playing this back and forth game. Okay, the British politicians, right? They have no strategy. They're dumb. They're beholden to the broken, obsolete, dilapidated Anglo-American banking and power model. Okay, the empire model. They're hooked on it. So I don't care about Britain. Okay, I don't care about England in the sense that they're not going to save themselves. They're too hamstrung. They're too tied into the hip with what's going on with the U.S. The Anglo-American power structure is going to go down in tubes. They're going to go down in flames. It is what it is. But what makes the bloody damn ItalExit so real? Why is it not a Grexit? Why is it not a Frexit or German exit or whatever the hell you want to call it? Number one, the political class in Italy has balls. Italians have always been a people that have balls. They're bold. They're passionate. I love Italians. Grew up with Italians. It's like I'm an honorary paisan. As an honorary paisan, I will tell you, Italians don't play. They don't take crap from no one. That's the way it is. So they're not going to take crap from the EU. And the alpha males that are in Italy have finally taken over the government. 5 Star is in power. Salvini's government is going for the jugular when it comes to Brussels, when it comes to their quotas on keeping migrants, when it comes to their economic demands. Salvini and the Italians have pretty much thumbed their noses and given the EU the one-finger salute. So now there's a political The Italian body politic has gotten its balls back. Why did it get its balls back? Is because the Italian population has found its balls. They found their balls. And they are now moving in a way that is contrary to globalism. Completely contrary to globalism. And I don't like it. The third thing, which is going to assure an ItalExit, is this. The U.S., the exceptional stand, a.k.a. the Empire of Chaos, is putting out all sorts of warnings. All sorts of warnings. The U.S. issues warning about Italy being made great again through China's Belt Road Initiative. The U.S. National Security Council issued a direct warning to Italy last weekend for its coziness with China. The country has been considering participating in China's Belt and Road Initiative, where one segment of the global economic effort aims to unite Europe with China. Italy is a major global economy and a great investment destination. Endorsing BRI lends legitimacy to China's predatory approach to investment and will bring no benefits to the Italian people, tweeted the U.S. National Security Council, because the U.S. National Security Council, they know best. They know best. China's predatory lending, it has no benefit to the Italian people. Folks, China's predatory lending is doing quite well in Africa. China's predatory lending is doing quite well in much of the world. Why are people signing on to China's predatory lending than anything? Nobody, let me explain something to you folks. Nobody signed on to the bloody IMF funding. Nobody. Do you know how we get countries to sign on to the IMF and the World Bank's lending program, which is basically the United States, basically. Okay, folks, let's not get it twisted here. When you think of the International Monkey Fund, don't think it's a whole cadre of European and American, financiers. No. It is American. Do not get it twisted. How did we get people to agree to the IMF funding, the World Bank funding? We did it at the point of a gun. Here, hello, Bolivia. We're going to take over your water resources. We're going to privatize your water. So now drinking water, we're going to tax the hell out of it. Hell, New Jersey's taxing rain, folks. Look it up. When it rains over here across the pond in Jersey, across the river in Jersey, all right? When it rains in bloody Jersey, there's a Jersey tax, because that's what Democrats do. They got to find ways to make everything a shithole. It's the Democratic way, folks. The Democratic way. So it's the same thing with the IMF. The International Monkey Fund goes to a country like Bolivia and says, hey, we're going to privatize your water. Oh, you don't like it? Okay, no problem. We'll be back. Not to mention, Bolivia is a wonderful supplier of cocoa. And I'm not talking about cocoa as in cocoa powder or cocoa puffs. I'm talking about cacao specifically as in cocaine. Colombian bang bang. Okay? The white snow. The you name it, right? So countries like Bolivia and countries all up and down Central and South America and all across the world, 50 countries to be exact. I'm sorry, over 30 some odd countries in 50 years to be exact. They all said, no, IMF, we don't want you. We don't want your insane loans. We don't want them. Oh, you don't want them? Okay, fine. What does the U.S. do because the IMF loans are not being taken? We come in, we bomb the place, we set up NGOs, we set up counter coups, we topple the governments, we assassinate people, we instill a puppet, and then we ramrod funding that just simply cannot benefit the people at all. And here is the kettle. Here's the kettle. Not calling the pot black, but here's the kettle that is calling the entire stove black. China's predatory lending will have no benefit for the Italian people. Oh my God, African countries are saddled with Chinese debt. China goes ahead and forgives them of the debt. They know it's going nowhere. They understand the paper game better than we do. Why? Because why? What makes China so damn different? The politicians in China are all generals and scientists and business people. Those are the politicians. The politicians in the U.S. are all scum-sucking lawyers. There's a difference. Blood-sucking, psychopathic lawyers. That's what they are. That's the difference. Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte believes otherwise. Conte has overruled that the foreign ministry has joined right-wing Eurosceptics in its push for a closer cooperation with China. With all the necessary precautions, Italy's accession to a new Silk Route represents an opportunity for our country. Oh my God, how dare a Western country do what's best for its own interests and its own people and its own culture? How dare the Italians do this? President Xi Jinping is expected to travel to Italy from March 22nd to the 24th. And Conte said that Rome and Beijing are expected to agree onto a framework deal during the state visit. Conte also announced his plan to attend an upcoming BRI summit in China. Oh my God. How dare they? How dare they? Marco Polo's back in China, baby, again. Italy has a long history with doing business with China. Italy's history with China is linked between the lo mein and the linguini, baby. Italy's relationship to China is linked from lo mein to linguini. Long-standing history. Italy and the Italian merchants and the merchants of Venice in particular, folks, they were actively involved in where? The Silk Road. The original Silk Road. Marco Polo. Xi Jinping going to arrive for a state visit in about a week and a half. Top theme of the discussion, New Silk Road. A day earlier in Brussels, the EU used to debate a common strategy related to Chinese investments in Europe. A substantial part of the EU is already linked de facto. Already, folks, de facto. Wait a minute, well, this is not going to benefit the European Union. No, it's not going to benefit globalist scumbags. Not going to benefit them. A substantial part of Europe already, 11 EU nations, belong to the 16 plus 1 group of China plus Central and Eastern Europe, and for all practical purposes, Italy. 16 plus 1, 17 countries already involved. Parts of Western Europe, parts of Eastern Europe already involved in the One Belt, One Road initiative, a multipolar world that the U.S. has no answer for. We have no answers. None. Anybody wants some pornography? Our trash and recyclement exports have fallen greatly because China is no longer accepting our recyclables and or our trash. Anybody interested in pornography? We have plenty of pornography in this world. And no, you're not. Oh, what about vaccines? What about psychotropic drugs? Anybody want psychotropic? Oh, no, I don't want that. Okay. How about some human trafficking? We are involved. Our company's involved in human trafficking. Nobody wants narco trafficking. How about some? Anybody wants some opioids? We are the leader of disbursements of opioids, legal and otherwise. No one wants that. What do we have to offer the How about bombs? Anybody want to get bombed? Anybody looking to get bombed, toppled? How about a coup? How about some sort of false flag somewhere? We are the mass exporters of false flags. Anyone interested? No takers? What do we got? Anybody want our educated, college-educated youth? They fail miserably in math and sciences. They can tell you the 74 genders that are on Facebook. In fact, they are right now debating what kind of gender they are as we speak, as they color with their coloring books and play with Play-Doh. Anybody interested in our competitive global youth? No one's interested. No one? No takers? No takers in our human resource? No one? So let me get this straight, planet Earth. You don't want our war. You don't want our drugs. You don't want our criminality, our crime, our criminal behavior. You don't want these unfair trade practices that we've done and have a track record of doing. You don't want our coups. You don't want our bombs to be dropped on. You don't want our terrorist groups that we create. You don't want any of that? Geez, I guess we don't have anything to export. What do we do? What do we do? The Italian economic development minister, Michele Geraci, to tell the Financial Times that a memorandum of understanding of support will be signed during the Xi's visit. And when that happens, the White House will wake up, and all the deep state is, the deep state's alive and well. If you think the deep state is dead and the swamp is being drained, you are a moron. You are a moron wrapped in an idiot. You're a moron wrapped in an idiot. If you believe the deep state is dead and the swamp is being drained, you are a moron wrapped in an idiot. Financial Times not shy of editorializing, because already the Council on Foreign Relations Rothschild publication, the Financial Times, is not shy of editorializing, calling the BRI, the Belt Road Initiative, a contentious infrastructure program. That's how you know you're doing some good in this world, when the Rothschilds start to cry about it. And the only quasi-global development program in the market, any market, it's especially contentious to Washington because the U.S. government, as detailed everywhere, folks, decided to antagonize instead of profiting from it. Why profit from the Belt and Road Initiative when you can antagonize? Because that's what we do. We're exceptional, Stan, folks. We're exceptional. We are the chosen nation. We are the shining light, the beacon of freedom on the hill. Rank number 42 in freedom, right below Romania. But we are the beacon of freedom. Every time I go to a commercial airport, I have the beacon of freedom shoved down my pants as I'm being groped to make sure I don't have a bomb in my underwear. A White House National Security Council spokesman deriding the BRI as a made by China for China project does not make it so. Think about it. Otherwise, they're telling you this is for China, by China, and only by China. Right, because the rest of the world are so stupid, and we're the smart ones. We're so smart. We're so smart. No less than 152, folks. You know, when I started talking about it, it was myself and Jim Willie and London Paul. We were like one of the first ones to talk about the Belt and Road Initiatives. Harley Schlangler is one of the first ones to talk about the Belt and Road Initiatives. When we started talking about the Belt and Road Initiatives, you know, we were the first ones. Nobody knew. There was like, you know, a handful of countries, 20 some odd countries involved. Okay, when we first started talking about it years ago, a handful of countries, like, you know, 20 some odd countries. It's 152, man. Now it's 152. So all 152 countries are idiots. They're all dumb, and we're the only ones that are smart enough to figure it out. No less than 152 and counting. Growing exponentially. It's such a contentious failure. It's so contentious that 152 countries like, yeah, sure, we want in. So let me get this straight. Deep State. You try to do a U.S.-centric global hegemony, which you had intact for the last, 5 decades. Okay, you had that intact. You had it on lock. Last 5-6 decades, you had it on lock, right? And the only way you're getting infrastructure deals done, the only way you're getting some sort of banking deals done and economic deals done was at the end of a bomb, was the end of a gun, was the end of a coup. The only way you're doing it is toppling governments, slaughtering people, robbing, raping, and pillaging the nation's other nations' resources. That's how you get your deals done. That's how you get your deals done. And all of a sudden, not a single bullet fired by China. They present an open and transparent plan, mutually beneficial trade. You give us this, we give you that. You work with us here, we'll work with you there. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, what about Malaysia, V? Malaysia has its own internal corruption. That's not China's problem. That's Malaysia's problem. Malaysia had a corrupt dictator / president in charge. It was a psychopath. It was an idiot, actually, just a moron. So anyway, back to the so China has this deal. This is so contentious. 152 countries willingly sign up. That's how contentious it is. We couldn't have a single damn country sign up to our plan without implementing a coup. A color revolution here, an assassination there, a hit squad there, a false flag there, and that's how we do business. Ha ha ha! But China does it without firing one shot. Countries have time to review the plan, look at the plan, work with the plan, work on the kinks of the plan, come to some agreements. The plan is ever working. Nothing is set in stone. They work on it. And 152 countries sign up. 152 sign up without firing a shot. Now, you freaking bloody well asked me this question. Why can't we do the same? Why can't we do the same? Because we're run by freaking idiots, folks. We're run by idiots. That's why we can't do the same. China's semi-official response to the White House eschewing the usual diplomatic remarks by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs came via scathing, unsigned editorial in the Global Times, which accuses Europe of being subjugated to Washington's foreign policy. And it is. And it is. Greiachi states the obvious. The BRI link will allow more of a made in Italy to be exported to China. As someone who lives between Europe and Asia and always discusses the BRI while in Italy, I see that all the time. The appeal of made in Italy for the Chinese. Of course, God, everybody knows Italians make some good stuff. Come on. You don't believe me? To come to New York. Just kidding. I mean, go to Italy, man. The food is amazing. Okay, Italian clothing. Come on now. Come on. You got to get a nice Zenga, nice Armani suit. You know, I got a beautiful Italian watch on. It's made in Switzerland, but it's made in the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland. My Squale. Beautiful watch, Squale, love it. And come on, Italian motorcycles, Ducati, you know, Aprilia, Bimota. Come on, it goes on and on and on, right? Benelli, it just goes on and on. Italian cars, let's go. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Pagani. Come on, it goes on and on. It's Alfa Romeo, folks. Have you seen the new Alphas coming out? Come on, they make good stuff. They make good stuff, okay? I should have. I should have been born Italian. I should have been born Italian. Anyway, Greiachi states the obvious. The BRI link will be more, food, fashion, art, interior design. Not to mention Ferraris and Lamborghini and Ferrari sold more cars in China than they did in the U.S. More cars in China than anywhere else in the world. It's unrivaled. It's unrivaled, even by France. Chinese tourists can't get enough of it. Let's go talk about fashion houses. Salvatore Ferragamo, Gucci. I mean, the Milan fashion houses. I mean, come on. Anybody want some porn? We have porn and recycled corn and nobody wants it. How about a false flag? We're exporting false flags are on sale, folks. That's what the U.S. is selling. Washington can build no case of lecturing Italians that a BRI link undermines the U.S. side in the trade war, considering that some sort of Z-Trump deal may be imminent anyway. Brussels, for its part, is already deeply divided. German business knows that China is the present and the future market of choice. Besides, one of the top terminals of the New Silk Road is Duisburg of the Ruhr Valley. We're talking about 11,000-kilometer Jiangsu container cargo train connection active since 2014. Chongqing, Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, Poland, all the way to Duisburg is Yuxniao, short for Chongqing Yanyan, Europe. One of the key corridors of the New Silk Road is bound to be upgraded to high-speed rail status in the next decade. Look at that, high-speed rail, real high-speed rail. We can't even get like 10 miles of track laid in California without it screwing up. China lays tens of thousands of miles of it, no issues, no problem. Nearly a year ago, I explained in some detail on Asia how Italy was already linked to the BRI. Essentially, it's all about Italy, the number 3 European nation on the naval trade, configured as top southern European terminal for BRI, the entry door for connectivity routes from east to west to south, also serving in a cost-effective manner scores of destinations west and north. Absolutely key. Absolutely key. Whatever the hell Washington or the city of London does at this point, folks. Whatever the hell Brussels thinks about doesn't matter. It means nothing to Italian national interests. My God, that's awesome. Italy's going to prosper. China has a love affair with Italy, much like I think it's the most beautiful country in the world. I want to retire in Italy. That's where I want to be, man. I want to spend the last few years of my life on the Gulf of Amalfi. That's where I want to be. I want to have a little house. I want to ride my little bicycle. Nah, screw the bicycle. I want to ride my Ferrari. Yeah, I have a nice little 308. Rip down the road. Yeah, maybe a 488. No. I want the last of the naturally aspirated Ferraris. A 458 Italia. There you go. The last of the naturally aspirated Ferraris. The 458. Drive it all the way down to the local buffalo farm. Get some buffalo mozzarella. Drive back. Have my buffalo mozzarella. A nice, delicious pizza and with some nice espresso. Have a little shuiadal afterwards. Oh, man, it's heaven. Heaven! That's what I want to do. So I, for one, am very happy that Italy it's a beautiful country. It's rich in history. It's a beautiful people. I love Italy. I really do. And I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see them prosper. And I hope many other countries in Europe get these disgusting satanic sycophants out of their governments and go the same route. Multipolar world is here to stay, folks. It's here to stay. And the deep state is meanwhile busy. Deep state's busy, folks. It's busy. It's not dead yet. Like I said, if you think the deep state is dead, you are an idiot wrapped in a moron, or a moron wrapped in an idiot. U.S. is playing both sides in the latest India-Pakistan spat. That's right, brothers. That's right. It's not come out, folks. As India and Pakistan iron out a few significant differences after a near brush with each other's military. I told you there's going to be no World War III in India, Pakistan. There's going to be no nuclear exchange. No one wants that. India-Pakistan conflict has revealed an incredibly ugly side of the Middle East regional geopolitics. And folks, you got to understand, the whole India-Pakistan thing, that is a leftover of Anglo influence. That is a leftover of what the Brits have done. Not dividing people across ethnicities or language, but by religion. The dumbest, craziest thing you could ever do. And that's why we have the problems they've had over there. We've seen those problems over there. For example, it now transpires that Israel has specific stake in the India-Pakistan. Of course, Israel made bombs dropped on Pakistani villages during the recent bombardment. Apparently, Israel is a key weapon supplier to the Indian army, supplying $1 billion of arms each year. And if it weren't for veteran journalist Robert Fisk, the Israel-India deal would most likely have been kept in the dark from the mainstream eye for some time to come. Like most volcanic eruptions in the Middle East, the U.S. has also adopted a schizophrenic approach that can only be explained if you combine the insanity of the Trump administration and the geostrategic chess game that lunatic neocons have mapped out for U.S. foreign policy strategy for decades. Let me ask you a question. How come a single damn neocon is not off the foreign policy? How come we're still, if we're fighting the bad guys and all this draining the swamp, why is the bloody foreign policy, which is the second most important thing after the economic policy, the same bloody foreign policy? How come it's being followed to a T? It's being followed to a T. Don't tell me this. The U.S. condemns yesterday's horrific terror attack on Indian security forces. Mike the Pompous Pompeo wrote, "My thoughts and prayers and blah, blah, blah with the victims. We stand with India as it confronts terrorism. Pakistan must not provide safe haven." But okay. U.S. is sticking with India and pushing back on Pakistan, right? Nope. Hardly surprising, given the U.S. has already completely turned its back on Pakistan in a bid to ensure it ceases being cozy with China. Why? Pakistan is part of the Silk Road. And at the same time, the U.S. had begun quietly pressuring India to kowtow to its interests as well. Just last week, the Trump administration notified Congress that it intended to scrap trade concessions for India, previously the largest beneficiary of the generalized systems of preference that impact over $5.6 billion worth of trade for India. The GSP was established in the 1970s to encourage economic growth in some of the world's 121 developing nations. It also bears mentioning that in tandem with its attack on India, the U.S. has also included Turkey on its recent tariff hit list, stating that Turkey has outgrown the GSP's incentives. While this is still not likely to be a major blow on its own, the timing is peculiar. Firstly, India's national elections are currently on the table, even as I type. Secondly, nuclear-armed India was about to go to war with nuclear-armed Pakistan at the time of the Trump administration's move is clearly intended to send a very hard-hitting message about what New Delhi needs to do with its leadership. And again, more foreign meddling, more wars, more weapons deals, more death, more destruction. That's what we are. We are the deathly. That's what it is. Our biggest export is death, drugs, and porn. That's our biggest. Oh, and trash and porn. That's what we do. That's what we do. Deep State's alive and well. EU will crumble when the ItalExit happens. Don't everybody's waiting and they're holding their breath for the stupid Brexit. Don't even worry about the dumb Brexit. They'll sort itself out. But Italy's out, man. Italy's out, and this is going to be a domino effect on the rest of the EU. It's going to impact the dollar-centric world, and because the multipolar world is here, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. So let's us all push away from the fantasy table. Let's all put it down. Everybody that's like following cues, is the equivalent of following Magic the Gathering, going to one of those fantasy role-playing, gaming conventions or whatnot. Let's all push that away and focus on reality. The reality is the multipolar world is here, and we have maybe 4 or 5 years, and then until that 4 or 5 years is coming, we're going to go through a major economic upheaval, and you need to position yourself. Have yourself some cash. Have yourself a marketable trade that you can bring anywhere. And the way you do that, there's a couple of things. You start a home-based business. You could, whatever, get a second, third job, or the best way you can do it, you can comfortably trade from the comfort of your own home. So check it out, watchustrade.io. And with all that being said, I'm over and out, people. I'll see you all at the Gadfly. Peace.